Welcome back to this week, Personal Selling Weekly. And today we will talk about how you can be at your best, not only, when you have everything going your way, but also, when time is not so easy. And, we live in a chaotic world where things shift around. And again, if sales was easy, maybe you were not really needed. So I think, again, what we would discuss today is what it would take to create performance every day, not just some of the days. And you could say that, well, what do you mean by performance? I think when it comes to sales, performance ultimately is about either bringing in new customers or working with existing customers so that they stay longer and buy more. I think it's really about working with customers in a way that they perceive as creating value for them so that they want to buy from you. And this is not always easy because most likely you and your company are not the only one that can help the customers you're chasing. So performance is about standing out and helping your customer just a little bit better than your competitors. And there are some strategies, some ideas I would like to share with you today that can actually help you do that more easily and faster. So if you're curious, stay tuned and we will get into that now. You could ask yourself, so how do you make every day a good day? And wow, that's not easy because fundamentally a lot of people, they need the world to be in a certain way to be okay. So it really, I think the fundamental idea is really to shift what you're scanning for. Is it the external world or is it really the internal world? And I think if we just take a step back and say, okay, what does it actually take to create performance through time? And I think the only thing which you can do, which can create a difference, is doing the right behavior. So there are things you can actually do when you interact with your customers that can either promote you getting the results or sabotaging yourself. And again, so knowing which micro behaviors actually is productive, I think is where you need to really put some effort. And again, if you're curious about that, go and study the Satisfaction book, because I think there we will describe some of the behavioral strategies you would need to really create success. But this is not enough. Because if your underlying thinking are not supporting you in actually doing this optimal behavior, it will not happen. Or it will only happen some days, not every day. So you need to start to understand how you can lead your thinking, how you can impact your beliefs and your value system so it actually supports you in doing the right thing the right way. And then you can say, wow, this is interesting, but again, not enough. Because if you are not emotionally intelligent enough to actually lead your emotions, you will not be able to control your thoughts. So to really master this high performance behavior every day, you need to go deeper than thinking. You need to master your emotional state, your feelings, because they're actually the foundation for your thinking. And if you want to master that, you need to master your physiology. You need to understand how to tweak your system from the inside so that you can create the emotions and the feelings that will support the thinking, that will allow you to actually do what you need to do to get the results you want. So that's where it starts in the body, not in the head. And when you do this well, when you know how to actually lead yourself, how to do personal leadership on a deep level, then you can be brilliant every day. So you could ask yourself, but how do you design that? You design performance by being knowledgeable and by being conscious about what needs to happen on these different levels, physiologically, emotionally, mentally, but also behaviorally. And you need to understand all these levels to really get in control of your performance. Otherwise, you are left to the circumstances. And for me, that's not good enough if you want to be a sales professional. You need to be able to set the scene, whether the sun is shining or it's raining. And you do that by really knowing your own plus signals. So you know how you're breathing, how you're positioning yourself. And again, let's just make a small test, because if you tense your shoulders for just a few minutes and then relax them, and just test when are you thinking more optimal, when you are tensing your shoulders or when you are relaxing. And for 9 out of 10, they would say, or maybe even more, would say, wow, when I'm relaxed, wow, there's more space in my head. And it's like, wow, I have a more positive outlook on the future when I'm relaxed. So again, why not go into the next meeting being relaxed? Not like this, but you can be relaxed and present at the same time. And I think when you know how to do that well, I think you are on the right track to actually perform better. But it's not enough to be relaxed and mindful and in balance if you don't know how to ask the right questions. If you don't have the skill set of actually listening and backtracking what the customer is saying. If you're not able to actually tune into communicating so that it actually fits the patterns of the customers. So it's not enough to be, a monk in total balance and, being in nirvana. No, it's not enough, but it's a damn good starting point. So why do we bring this up? I think we bring this theme up because, again, being in sales is not always, just happy, easy. It can be a very stressful position to be in because, sales directors, managers, whether they like it or not, often, push people because they need the numbers. Or I have also met salespeople that really push themselves. And that's not always useful, because if you stress yourself and the people around you, it doesn't promote optimal thinking. And therefore, it leads to more short-term focus, which will not lead to the behavior that actually create the real results you want long-term. So in a way, you need to understand to, in a way, motivate yourself from a positive place instead of beating yourself up. You need to understand how to basically work with a burning desire rather than a burning platform, both as a sales leader, but also as a sales professional. And again, I think this is the core idea in the satisfaction selling method, is that we want to inspire you to start from what's working, and from there get clarity about what you actually want to achieve. I think the more you do that, the more you will also basically physiologically be healthy. You will more often find yourself in a good emotional state. You will more often find yourself thinking, wow, I can do this. And therefore, you will more often find yourself actually having the right behavior when you interact with customers, being curious, asking open questions, really challenging the customer at the right point in the meeting when you have built the relationship. And again, presenting solution when you actually know what the customer wants to buy, so that it becomes easy for customers to buy from you so that you don't have to sell. So now you can ask yourself, but where do I start with all of this? And I think, again, of course, again, you need to understand what results would you like to create. So by the end of the year, what is your target? And then you need to step back and say, okay, what is it that I have to do to actually create those results? And what is it that I have to believe about myself, my company, my colleagues, my customers to do that? And then again, take it all the way back to how do I need to show up? And again, as we have already discussed in this episode, for most people, being in an open, positive, physiological state is really a powerful place to start. So I think, again, there's some small exercises you can do. First and foremost, Make sure that you're well rested. Get your 8 hours of sleep. Make sure that you exercise so that you are physiologically in a good shape. Make sure that you actually breathe, not only here, but fill your lungs. And again, so I think a very simple thing you can do before the next sales meeting is to what is called box breathing. That's where you take 5 minutes and basically breathe in, counting to 4, holding your breath in, counting to 4, breathing out, counting to 4, keep it out, counting to 4. And if you do this for a few minutes, maybe 3-4 minutes, it will totally reset your system so that you show up open, relaxed, ready to really engage with the customer in an optimal way. I think this doesn't take hours and hours, but if you do this before every meeting, then it will spread into other situations of your life and you will find that you will be much more productive. So that would really be where I would recommend you to start. So again here, go out, practice this until we meet again next week, and then I will bring some new ideas which can help you perform even better with your customers and in your position as a sales professional. Look forward to seeing you again.